Howdy heckin' hello H2Os, Roller Bros, and Mwuffins alike. I'm your guide Q. Welcome back to Tales from the Customer. We've got some terrible customer service stories to go over, so let's just dive inside of it. Was I being a Karen in this situation? I work in the restaurant business, I know all the tea about customers not tipping and blah blah blah. This is why I leave at least 20% if not more on bills whenever I go out to eat. Also, I don't make a huge deal of things whenever something goes wrong with my experience at a restaurant, because most likely I've gone through the same thing as an employee. I am very aware of people's feelings and who they are as a person, not just as an employee. I was at a bowling alley with my boyfriend. We waited about 10 minutes in line just to speak to someone because of how crowded it was. The cashier guy never said a word to us when we went up to him. We had to initiate the conversation. Told him it was just 2 for bowling and all he did was ring up our total. That's it, without saying a word. I paid and he gave me the receipt. I didn't even think to give him a tip, so I just signed my name and handed it back to him. He literally rolled his eyes and said, "Really?" I was shocked. Then I started thinking if what I did was wrong, but never once have I ever heard of tipping a cashier unless they did another service for you as well. All he did was ring our total up. Even if I was supposed to tip, he was totally rude from the beginning. I don't know, am I overthinking? I really don't want to be a Karen, but honestly, I don't think a tip was necessary. Like, if you don't tip the cashiers at grocery stores, why would I tip him? If I'd ordered food service at the bowling alley, then I for sure would have tipped, even if it was just counter service. But all this dude did was listen to what I wanted, then ring up the total without saying a word to me. It was less than a 1-minute interaction. I don't know, am I wrong? Personally, I think this is insane. Let me know if you think this person should have tipped, but yeah, I've never heard of tipping counter service that does something this minimal. I mean, maybe if he did something cool where he, like, put a bunch of flair into spraying that de-stinkifying spray into the shoes, maybe I'd tip him like $1 if there was some cup that said, like, tips extremely appreciated or something, but aside from that, I can't see any reason to tip this person, and I definitely don't see any reason for him to have a problem with you not tipping him. Especially since he did negative things to earn that tip by giving such horrible customer service. So, yesterday I reserved tickets to see Avengers Endgame with my superfan 9-year-old for today. Hot commodity, I know. We arrive fairly early and take our seats. We sit through all of the ads and then the trailers. Fast forward 25 minutes into the movie and this pack of teens comes shuffling in, trying to sit in our seats. One of them very quickly says, "Can I see your tickets?" "Sure, no problem." She then points out that we're seated in the opposite set of seats and we're actually supposed to be in the same seat number, but in a very different row, closer to the screen. Okay, that was totally my bad. I read things wrong and will rightfully give you the seats you reserved and move to the seats I accidentally chose. It sucks, but that's life. Make mistakes and own up to them. We still have a decent enough view and my son is still happy just getting to see the movie. Fast forward again about an hour and a half into the movie, this group of teens are being loud, laughing inappropriately, and overall being obnoxious to the entire theater. Of course, I was annoyed, but I also knew that if I reported it, they would just claim I was pissed about having to move, so I stayed quiet and enjoyed the movie. Within 15 minutes, another patron gets up and goes to get an attendant to speak with the rowdy group. They settle for a while, but start right back up again shortly after the attendant leaves. The same action is repeated 4 more times with various people leaving to talk to attendants before what appeared to be management coming in to speak with them. The management quieted them down for the longest amount of time, but they still got back to their antics within 25 minutes or so. At this point, there's only like a half hour left of the 3 freaking hour long movie, and nothing has settled them. They essentially distracted a packed theater from the movie without any real consequences. This just irks me to the bone. Not only were they disrespectful of other guests, but they insisted me and my son move so that they could have better seats to do so. Honestly, this really pisses me off because I had a similar experience recently, but before I get into that, they should have just given them a 1 warning policy. We're gonna come in, talk to you. If you start making noise again and somebody complains, you are kicked out of the theater, because it ruins the movie for everybody else, especially such an intense movie like this that is so hyped and you were trying to see right when it came out. I just saw Detective Pikachu when it came out, and I had the exact same thing happen, except it was even younger kids with their parents there, which made me even more angry. It was like the first time that they showed a Pokemon, everybody was like, oh my god, it's Bulbasaur! And I was like, it's kind of cute, it reminds me of my first time seeing a Pokemon movie in the theaters, but then when it happened a dozen more times, I was like, somebody needs to shut these kids the hell up and teach them to respect the space that is a movie theater so everybody else can enjoy the movie without constant interruptions. This one is ominously titled, Thank Goodness He Forgot the Straw. This happened a few years ago when I made the mistake of ordering from a popular sandwich delivery chain, one that prides itself on speedy delivery. What you need to know about me is that I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to food service. The last thing that I want to do is upset folks who are handling my food, largely because I don't want to give them any reason to tamper with it. I'm polite, I don't complain, I don't send food back or ask for compensation, and I always tip. Apparently, that's not always good enough, but I digress. I was feeling a bit under the weather and didn't feel like cooking, so my wife and I decided to order a couple sandwiches for dinner. She ordered hers with extra peppers and a bag of chips, I got mine with a cookie and a drink, and then we waited. An hour goes by and I start to worry. We had ordered online and delivery from this place usually doesn't take very long, hence their tagline. Maybe something went wrong, maybe they're busy. 30 more minutes go by. I call up the store and am greeted by a friendly employee. Hi, sorry, I was just calling to check on my order. We ordered about an hour and a half ago and I haven't received it yet. Oh, sorry about that. Confirms order details. Yes, it should be out to you soon. We apologize for the long wait. We only have one delivery driver this evening and we're busier than usual. No worries, just wanted to make sure it was still coming. Approximately 2 hours after we had originally ordered, the delivery driver shows up. Having been delivery drivers ourselves, we give him the benefit of the doubt and tip him normally. No complaints. Then it hits me. He forgot my drink. I rush outside hoping to catch him, but he's gone. Now, ordinarily, I might have shrugged it off, but since I'd already waited 2 hours for my food, I decided to call back and was once again greeted by friendly employee. I explain the situation and he offers to have it sent out immediately with a free cookie of my choice for the inconvenience. I ask if he can just take off the price of the drink from my order, and he refuses, so I accept the offer. Another 45 minutes go by before the delivery driver returns. I'm pretty annoyed at this point, but I thank him for the drink and apologize to him since it's just now 10 minutes to closing time. Nearly 3 hours after I originally ordered my meal, I sit down to enjoy my long-awaited beverage. I open the bag that contained my consolation cookie, and surprise, it's the wrong cookie, but more importantly, there's no straw. Up to this point, you might have been wondering why the title of this post is, Thank Goodness He Forgot the Straw. I had no reason to suspect that the delivery driver was angry with me. I had been polite. I didn't complain about the extremely late delivery, and I had tipped him generously. I hadn't wanted him to make an extra trip just to bring my drink. I just didn't want to pay for something that I hadn't received. Screw me, right? You see, in the absence of a straw, I had to take off the lid to enjoy my soda. Upon doing so, I realized in a moment of rage and disgust that I had been saved by his incompetence. There, on top of the ice, was an unmistakable glob of translucent off-white slime. A big, fat, hate-infused loogie. From there, it went exactly as you might expect. I proceeded to call the store for a third time and as calmly as possible, asked to speak to the manager who was cooperative. This was the result. I received a full refund, obviously, and the assurance that the delivery driver would not be receiving the tip for that order and that he would most likely be let go. I was offered a generous store credit, which I declined since A, I would not be ordering from them anytime soon, and B, didn't want it to seem like I just wanted free food. I was contacted by the regional manager who was extremely apologetic and understanding and tried again to compensate me with free food, which I again declined. He also confirmed that the delivery driver had been fired. I was mailed an apology letter from the corporate office, which included a gift card which I gave away. I have since resumed ordering from there, but I no longer get drinks. Every time, though, I still think about how I narrowly avoided becoming a victim of his poorly executed revenge. Thank goodness he forgot the straw. Ugh, that is absolutely disgusting, especially after all the time they waited just to get their food and drink. I worked in the restaurant industry for like 6 years, and I never once experienced anybody like directly tampering with food in this sort of manner, or ever heard a story about it. The worst I ever personally saw was somebody like complaining about their food not being well done enough, and then the cook being like, "Oh, I'll show them well done," and cooking it to hell. But yeah, that was the worst thing I ever saw, and it wasn't anything close to this. Ugh, it is a blessing that he forgot the straw. Hey, if you want to check me out on Instagram, Twitter, or Twitch, all of those things will be linked in the description down below, as well as Amazon affiliate links for all of the equipment I use on my channel. I actually just updated my microphone, so I need to put that down there, but I will have my old microphone in the description, so check those out if you're interested. Anyway, skate on to the best of your abilities, guys. Make sure you're drinking more water, and I will see you very soon.